Why losing hurts more than winning. The psychology of pain, pride, and survival. Imagine this. You and your friend flip a coin 10 times. Every time you win, you get $10. Every time you lose $10. At the end of the game, you win 5 times and lose 5 times. Logically, you should feel neutral. But you don't, because the losses stay in your chest longer than the wins stay in your mind. You remember the moment you lost. You replay it. You think, if only. The wins? They pass quickly, almost quietly. This is not a personality flaw. This is how the human brain is built. And this single tendency shapes your relationships, your confidence, your memories, your risks, your happiness, your entire life story. Because losing does not just mean not winning. To the brain, losing means danger. Part 1. The ancient brain that still lives inside you. Winning is pleasant. Losing is survival. For most of human history, a loss was never symbolic. It meant you lost food, you lost status in the tribe, you lost protection, you lost territory, you lost a mate, you lost your place in the social hierarchy. And losing your place in the social hierarchy once meant death. So evolution did something very simple and very brutal. It made the pain of loss louder than the pleasure of gain. Because missing one opportunity to gain food equals uncomfortable. Missing one sign of danger equals you're gone. Your nervous system is not designed for happiness. It is designed for survival. And survival requires one thing: never ignore a loss. Part 2. Loss is not an event. It is a threat to identity. Winning gives you pleasure. Losing gives you a story. When you lose, the mind begins asking, what does this say about me? Am I not good enough? Did others see? Will they remember? A lost game is not just a lost game. It becomes, I am the person who failed. That is why you forget 90% of your successes, but remember your most embarrassing moment from 10 years ago in perfect detail. Because wins live in the external world. Losses move into your identity. Part 3. The chemistry of pain versus the chemistry of pleasure. Pleasure is a short-term chemical. Dopamine spikes, then returns to baseline. Pain is different. Loss triggers cortisol, adrenaline, threat detection systems. Your body prepares for danger, and your brain marks the moment as important. Never repeat this. This is why one criticism can outweigh 10 compliments. One breakup can overshadow years of love. One failure can erase the feeling of progress. The brain is not being negative, it is being protective. Part 4. Why winning feels empty faster. Winning is expected. Losing is personal. When you win, the brain quickly normalizes it. Of course, your standard rises immediately. This is called hedonic adaptation. You get the job you wanted, it becomes normal. You reach the goal, you create a bigger one. You earn more, it stops feeling like more. But when you lose, the brain does not adapt. It studies, it analyzes, it replays. Because the brain believes, inside this pain is a lesson that will keep you alive. Part 5. Social pain is real pain. Modern losses are rarely about survival, but the brain doesn't know that. Today we lose arguments, followers, status, attention, approval, relationships. But social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical injury. So when you lose, you are not being dramatic. You are experiencing something the brain processes as wound. Part 6. Loss creates memory. Winning creates moments. Ask someone, "Tell me about your biggest win." They pause. Ask them, "Tell me about your most painful failure." It comes instantly, with sensory detail, because losses are encoded deeply. Why? Because memory is not for nostalgia. Memory is for future protection. Your brain keeps losses close so you can avoid them again. Part 7. The ego can survive failure, but it fears meaninglessness. Winning says, "I did something well." Losing says, "Maybe I am not who I thought I was." And the second one shakes your entire inner structure. Because humans don't just want success, we want competence, respect, identity, control. Loss threatens all four at the same time. Part 8. Near misses hurt the most. Almost winning is more painful than losing completely, because the brain simulates the victory. If I had tried harder, if I had started earlier, if I had said one different sentence. You don't just experience the loss, you experience the ghost of the win, over and over. Part 9. Why we become risk-averse. Because losing hurts more than winning feels good, people stay in bad jobs, stay in unhealthy relationships, don't start businesses, don't speak up, don't try. Not because they don't want to win, but because they are wired to avoid loss. This is called loss aversion, and it silently controls most human decisions. Part 10. Childhood, where the pattern becomes personal. Your first losses were not financial. They were emotional. Being picked last, being compared, being laughed at, disappointing a parent, not being seen. At that moment, the brain linked loss equals I am not worthy. So later in life, when you lose, you are not reacting to the present. You are reacting to every loss that came before it. Part 11. Why some people chase winning and still feel empty. Because they are not chasing victory, they are trying to erase a loss. And winning does not heal loss. It only distracts from it. That is why you can achieve everything you wanted and still feel like you're behind. Because the original wound was never about success. It was about worth. Part 12. The strange truth. Loss builds depth. Winning makes you feel strong. Losing makes you become strong. Loss forces reflection, adaptation, humility, reinvention. Every meaningful transformation begins with a loss. Loss of certainty, loss of identity, loss of comfort, loss of illusion. Winning maintains your life. Losing changes it. Part 13. Why we remember people who lost and rose again. We admire comeback stories more than effortless success, because deep down we know a person who has lost and rebuilt is less fragile, more real, more aware, more human. Loss creates dimension. Winning creates image. Part 14. The final paradox. Losing hurts more than winning feels good. But if it didn't, you would never learn, never grow, never prepare, never care. Pain is the price of meaning, because only something that matters can hurt, and the intensity of the hurt reveals the depth of your investment. Conclusion: redefining loss. So here is the truth most people never hear. Losing hurts more than winning feels good, not because life is unfair, but because your brain is designed to protect what matters. Loss is not proof of failure. It is proof of attachment, effort, courage, participation. You cannot lose at something you never cared about, and that changes everything.
Because when you feel the sting of loss, what you are actually feeling is the cost of being fully alive. Winning gives you a moment. Losing gives you self-knowledge, resilience, direction, depth. So the goal is not to stop feeling the pain of losing. The goal is to understand it. Because the day losing stops hurting is the day nothing matters anymore. And a meaningful life is not a life where you always win. It is a life where you are brave enough to keep playing, even when you know losing will hurt.